Mariella. You're ready to go. Everybody's here.
Okay, great. So I am going to, Heather and Robert, you both are familiar with Zoom, yes? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get started, do a quick intro, then Heather, I will introduce you, you will start, and then we're going to take a 5-minute intermission, transfer over to Robert, and then close out. Sounds good? All right, so I'm about to broadcast, so I'm going to ask you to turn off your video for now, and then we'll go live. And I'm going to do it for you, Heather. Let's go. Okay, we are broadcasting. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to day 5 out of 7 for the Hearing Access and Inclusion Conference. It's been just going so quickly. It's almost over. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with all of you, since we have some new people who are going to be joining us today, and I want to make sure that we cover all of our ground rules. So welcome to the Hearing Access and Inclusion Conference. If you're going to be taking any pictures, any videos, if you take any quotes, if there's something that you learn about and you just say, oh my goodness, I've learned about this wonderful technology, and you go on social media and share it, make sure that you use the hashtag HAIC2020 so that we can keep track of all the content that we are creating and all the ways that people are using this conference to stay in the know about hearing access and inclusion. So our agenda for today is going over the privacy notice, Zoom layout, the why of the conference, who we are, going over today's discussion topics, some ground rules, and then finally the conference will start conferencing. So the privacy notice is that we are recording this presentation. And even though we are not recording you, we just want you to be mindful that if you go on the Q&A and you type, I am Mariella from New York City, and I love this conference, that could be content that we could then use to market this conference in the future. So just be mindful that we are recording all of the content that we are creating together so that others can see it later at some later point in time. Next, the Zoom layout. So there are a few buttons at the very bottom of your screen. One of those buttons is Q&A. That is where you will type any questions you may have. If anything comes up that you want to ask, all the questions for the speakers will be consolidated there. So make sure that you pay attention to the Q&A in case something comes up. We will be monitoring the Q&A, so keep your eyes on that. The why. Why are we putting this conference together? And again, if you've been with us for the last 5 days, I apologize, but again, we have some new people joining us. So I am a person with a hearing disability. I use a cochlear implant to hear. And I've had a cochlear implant for almost 2 decades now, a little bit more than that, but and the cochlear implant, the device that I use to hear, has created tremendous opportunities in my life by being a tool through which I have been able to restore my hearing, or a tool through which I can hear. It's called a cochlear implant. And one of the things that I noticed was that I had a lot of people that had similar experiences to me. We had similar challenges, similar successes, And I have a platform called Private Hearing where I talk about my everyday life, the good days, the bad days, the nuances of the everyday of being a person with a hearing disability and a cochlear implant user. And all of these things really inspire me to create Private Hearing. But recently, I've noticed that I've met so many smart people, and all of them have so much to share. Over the last few days, we've connected with people like Carolyn, who talked about the face mask and some best practices for people with hearing disabilities. So one of the things that you may be aware of is that masks cover your lips. But if you're someone like me that has a hearing disability and depends on lip reading, when someone's wearing a mask, that can be super hard. So Carolyn talked about some best practices. We also heard from Jennifer, who was speaking about all of the different ways that we can use captioning technology, all the different tools that are available. We heard from Andy O, who talked about emergency preparedness if you're a person with a hearing disability. We heard from my mom yesterday for a Spanish workshop where she talked about best practices for raising a child with a hearing disability. My mom is a natural public speaker. I definitely know where I get it from now. It was her first time presenting. We also heard from Marcos yesterday, also for the Spanish workshop, and he talked about this incredible technology that's using the Google Transcription API. And what that does is, if you have an Android phone, you are probably familiar with the Google Live Transcribe application. So if you have an Android phone, this application allows you to talk and it will transcribe everything that's being said in real time. We heard from Dimitri from Google about all of the technologies that Google is working on to facilitate access and inclusion, and oh boy, other individuals, and they're all working in the field of accessibility and inclusion, and they all have so much to say. So I hope that you will take some time after the conference to maybe check out those conferences that you missed, or maybe even go back and review them once again, because maybe there's something you missed. But anyway, that is why we are hosting the Hearing Access and Inclusion Conference, and this event is being put together by 4 of us. So it's me, Mariella Paulino from Private Hearing. We also have Seth, who has been the project manager behind this entire operation. She makes sure that people are where they are supposed to be, when they are supposed to be there. We have Patrick, who is the tech mastermind behind this thing, making sure that the technology is working, and not only that it is working, but that it is accessible. So he's making sure that we have the interpreter, that we have the closed captioning, that all the technology is working seamlessly. We also have Natasha, who has been working with the operations, so making sure that our content is going out, that our emails are going out, that everything is just really flowing smoothly. So together, we put together this amazing orchestra and really tame the chaos to create this incredible conference. So for today's discussion, we have 2 incredible individuals who are going to be presenting for the theme today, which is how to caption your media and make your media accessible. So our very first speaker is going to be Heather, who is going to be talking about this, oh my God, technology known as the script. So what the script does, and she'll talk to you about it for the next half hour, is you basically have a video file, and then you're able to kind of like edit that video file the same way that you would edit a Word document. And it's not even that. So what is fascinating is the technology behind the script, which, if I am not mistaken, also uses the Google Transcription API. Blew my mind when I first saw it in action. And then after that, we're going to have a very smooth transition from that script into this other application called Caption. And what Caption does is when you create a media file that is closed caption, you have a video file, and then you also have something that's called an SRT file. And so you're able to do these two things in the script. But what Caption does is it allows you to combine these two things together so that you can create a video that has the closed captioning at the bottom. It is, again, when I saw it for the first time, I was just alone. I needed to tell people about these technologies. So some ground rules before we get started. Use the Q&A to ask any questions you have, any concerns or comments, drop them in the Q&A. Be respectful. So be respectful in the sense that try not to ask a question that comes across as rude or disrespectful. We are trying to foster an accessible and inclusive space. That means that we are trying to create a space where everyone is included. Don't be a butthead. And then finally, well, not finally, but just really respect bubbles. Be conscious that you may have an experience that is very different from another person's experience. And so just be conscious that we all live within our own bubbles. And then finally, we put so much thought into this conference. It's day 5. We've been doing this for 5 days. Everything has been going amazing. And I am so excited for the next 2 presentations and the presentations we have tomorrow. So try to be present, try to learn as much as you can, and I hope that you learn a lot. So our very first speaker today is going to be Heather. Heather, are you with us? So what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to turn on your video. There are 2 buttons on the lower left-hand corner. One of them is for video. The second button from your left, I want you to click on video so that we can get you online. Let me know when you're ready.
Hi everyone, I am here. I'm not able to start my own video. I need the host to give me that permission.
All right, so Patrick, go ahead and give Heather that permission when you can, please.
Here I am.
Awesome. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, absolutely.
We are ready to start this party, and I am going to jump off.
Great. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen? I'm going to guess yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Mariella. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Ellis, and I manage marketing for Descript. As Mariella just said, thank you so much. And I am going to walk you through importing and doing some simple edits on a video, importing that video with subtitles. So let us begin. We're going to start by logging into Descript here. And what we're looking at is my personal drive. Over on the left sidebar over here is where you're able to see the different drives that you have access to, as well as some of the basic tools you can use to navigate Descript. And just in case anyone isn't familiar, Descript is a platform that enables a creator to edit audio and video by editing a text-based transcript. So I will walk through that process. We'll look at the transcript, we'll look at the export. And I saw that we just had a chat, so I'm gonna double check really quickly before we get started. Okay, great. Let's get started. So we go up to the upper right-hand corner here and click New Project. I'm going to just call this HAIC Prezo, and we're saving this to my drive, create the project. So now we're met with an open untitled composition. We start by pulling in our raw audio or video to this box here. It's adding the file, and you can see on the left here, we have this transcribe window. This is what kicks off the transcription which will generate on its own. It's surprisingly accurate. And if we did have multiple people featured in this video, we could check this box here to detect multiple speakers, and Descript will intelligently break out the transcript by person, by speaker. But this video is just me reading a book, so I'm not going to check that box, and I'm going to click transcribe here. So we see that's thinking, and by importing, it is creating a composition over here on my left sidebar. This is the compositions tab. We have a composition being created in real time. And very shortly, we'll have our transcription ready to go. Boom, there it is. So as we can see here, we have our video up top, then the transcription of me reading in the middle section, and then down here, this is called our timeline. Sorry about this notification here. I can't click on it, but our timeline down here. Most edits can be done in the transcription, but if you need to do fine tuning with, let's say, your sound quality or very precise edits, you can edit your timeline down here just like you would edit any more traditional audio or video editing software. But the first thing we're going to do, head to the top of our transcription, and this is not an unknown speaker, this is me. So I'm going to assign Heather as the speaker label. So now we can see everywhere in the transcript where it is me, Heather, talking, the timeline has been assigned a corresponding color code. So our next step, we're going to go to this tab here, our media library, because we actually do have a second piece of content that we want to include in this project. So I'm going to go to media library and say add new, add another file, and we're going to pull in our second video. Now, since we're in our media library, we have the transcribe option down here on the left. It didn't pop up automatically, so I'm going to say transcribe file, and I don't want to create a new composition, so I'm going to uncheck this box and say transcribe. So while that's transcribing in the background, let's go back to our original composition and start editing. A couple things to note. We have up here in the right corner this cloud save icon. Every few seconds, every time you make a change to your project, we are automatically backing up your project to the cloud. So your work is constantly being saved. You don't have to do anything to save on your own. And you can always click up here to double check when your last sync was. Descript is also fully collaborative. So I am going to share my project with Robert, who is presenting right after me as my collaborator. So I click on share here, project access, and I want to invite someone to my project. I paste in the email address here. I give them editing permission, send, and now Robert is able to access my project. The next thing I'm going to do here, just for organizational purposes, is rename this composition to be called Heather, let's say final video. Renamed here and renamed here in my title. Next, I have a little bit of dead air in this video. If we were to watch it from the beginning here, it's just me sitting around for a second. We don't need that. So I'm actually going to go down to the timeline, click and drag to highlight this dead air and hit delete. That deleted from my timeline, it deleted the dead air from the top of my transcript, and it edited my video. I'm going to do the same thing at the very end, because I have some dead air here at the end. Click, drag, delete. Now I am going to go back to my media library because our second piece of media is ready to go here. I am going to click on the three-dot menu, create composition from file. There it is. And in this case, this is me speaking again. And I'm just going to Control A to copy all of this. Now Control C, copy, go to the end of my composition here and paste. Now what I just did is copied the audio and the video from that second composition and pasted it into my first composition. So now I have a long video. That is my first composition here. That's composition number 1. And down here, I have composition number 2. And look at that, more dead air. So let's clean that up again. More drag and drop, bloop, delete. And we can bet there's a little bit more at the end. Drag, click, delete. So now we have our tight 2 pieces of audio and video into one single composition. Couple of organizational things we can do here. This is the break between composition 1 and composition 2 right here, but in my transcript, I can't cleanly see that that's where this change is occurring. So I'm just going to go into my composition. I'm going to click return, move up to this space, and then command enter. This puts in a marker, and a marker is really, you can think of it like a heading within your transcription. So I'm going to use this marker to indicate that this is where the conclusion comes in. So now in my transcript, I have composition number 1, then this marker indicating the conclusion, and then composition number 2. I have a couple of different ways to indicate this. I personally like markers because they are big, they are bold, they're this darker color, so they really stand out. But some people really like what's called an inline note. So I'm going to go up to my plus sign here, which is how you add additional media, additional text, additional anything to your composition. And I'm going to select inline note. And now let's say I'm going to leave a note for Robert here. I'm going to say Robert, conclusion starts here. So now when my collaborator, Robert, comes in to look at this composition, he can look at these notes and get my thoughts very easily by reading these little light gray lines of text. Another option is to put my cursor here where I want to leave a comment for Robert. Click on this little icon here, this comment icon. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Scrolled the wrong way. And say @Robert. And see how it pops up there because I had shared my composition. I'll just say conclusion starts here. And now these little comments can be resolved and ignored and excluded from the transcript when I export my transcript. Okay, so now we're organized. Let's get to actually editing. Up here in this section, we didn't look at it, but I messed up. In this section, I am reading from a book and I couldn't pronounce this one particular sentence. So I'm just going to play it a little bit. See, screwed that up. I pronounced Kathleen Turner's name wrong because that's difficult for me to say. And I had to go back and read the sentence again. So I have these couple lines of text here that are just me doing a bad job. So I highlight these lines of text and just hit delete. And now when I play this piece of media, it's going to go straight from the previous sentence, which I performed fine, to the good take of me saying the sentence that I struggled with. So if you were watching carefully, you may have seen the jump cut where I made the edit. Those are the only kinds of cuts that we have right now. It's these very just quick, simple jump cuts. But as our video editing software gets more and more advanced, we'll introduce additional editing options. Just double checking my notes really fast. Okay. Another thing that I am really excited to show you is our project search tool, which can do a lot of really interesting things. So that's this icon over here. You click project search, and then I can search for text, single words, whole phrases. I can even search for word gaps, which is silence in between speaking. And then I can also search for filler words. So we have an interesting piece of technology that can sense when you go, or or when you say things like, you know, or like, or any other phrase that you use as a filler word, we have AI technology that can detect those filler words like, you know, and highlight them within your text. And then with one click, you can ignore those words or delete those words, or just leave them highlighted in your transcript so that you can deal with them one by one. In this context, ignore means we will remove the audio. Let's say it's an we'll remove the audio, but the video will still have you sitting there. It won't edit out that piece. Delete means it will edit out that piece of video, so you won't hear it and you won't see it. Also in project search, we can search for text. So let's say, I'm just going to search for a word, helpful. I search for the word helpful because maybe I'm trying to find that sentence where the speaker is saying helpful. My search results pop up over here. I can click and then it will highlight in the text and in the timeline where that word or phrase was said. So you can imagine if this was a long piece of text about a similar topic, like let's say this is a long piece of text about this conference, and I wanted to find every instance of the speaker saying hearing access and inclusion conference. I'd be able to search for that over in my project search tool, and it would find every instance of that phrase. And then down here, I could, let's say, copy just that phrase. Every time the speaker says that phrase, I could copy it to paste into another composition. Or I could say, select surrounding sentences. So every time that word or phrase was said in a sentence, I can copy the full sentence into a new composition. This tool is extremely helpful when you're dealing with, let's say, a supercut, where you wanted to have a speaker just hit every single instance of a certain topic in a single video. You can supercut together very easily using project search. Okay, so back to our composition. This was a very simple video. It's just me reading a book. Here you can see me holding up the book. It's just me reading a book into the camera, and all we wanted to do was put those two pieces of media together. So I glossed over a lot of the more advanced editing tools that we have in Descript. I highly, highly recommend you check out some of our tutorials, some of our Help Center content. We have a lot of information for you about more advanced editing options. But for now, let's say we're done with this project and we want to export and get it out into the world. I go back up here to my share icon, and I can publish and I can export. Here in publish, I have the opportunity to publish just the audio from my project, the audio and video, or create what's called an audiogram, which is a visual. You can think of it like a GIF. It's a visual that has the words the speaker is saying scrolling through as they're saying them. So it's an audio and visual kind of mini video that you can use to promote whatever piece of content you're creating. With exporting, this is what we're going to do right now. And with exporting, you have a few options. You can either export your media as finished content right now, or you can export your project to other software. You could export to Final Cut Pro if you're making a video and you want to add some more advanced editing features. If you're only working with a piece of audio, you could export to Pro Tools, Logic, Audition, Premiere, these other pieces of software. And what's really interesting is that every edit that you do on your content is what we call non-destructive, meaning you can not only undo in Descript, you can actually export into these other pieces of software and still access your original files. You can still undo even if you export to Final Cut Pro. This is obviously a very freeing feature because you can have maybe multiple editors working on the same piece of content, and you can send out, okay, here's my version of this video, but you can still make the final decisions about what does and doesn't get included. But for right now, we are going to export our final content. So we are going to export our current composition, which is our final video. We're going to export as an MP4. We do have we can create other file types, but we're going to export as an MP4 and leave all of our default settings here, export. We're going to call it Heather Final Video. We're going to export into my assets folder. All that's good. And then we're also going to export our subtitles. So we are going to export as an SRT. You also have the option to export as a VTT, but we're going to do SRT. And we are actually only going to have one line per card rather than two. This is actually because I'm sending these files to Robert for the next presentation, and he suggested to me that one line would be better than two, so you'll see that soon. And maximum characters per line is also something that you can customize. Finally, if we did have multiple speakers, we could check this box to include speaker names in subtitle text. This is entirely a matter of preference. We have some creators who think that the speaker names in the text clutters the view and takes up too much space, but sometimes it's necessary if the speaker isn't on screen while they're speaking. So entirely a matter of preference. We are going to leave these settings as they are and click export. So we now have our final video file and our final subtitle file exporting into a folder on my desktop. They will be done very shortly. The subtitles are actually already done. Video will be done shortly. And then I will send these files to Robert to do his presentation in a few minutes. So with our final 10 minutes now, I would love to take questions. I saw that several people have already written in, and I definitely encourage you to ask questions beyond what I presented just now, because there is a lot more to Descript than I fit in the last 20 minutes. So let's pull up those Q&A questions now.
Maybe like avoid time for you, we've already pulled some of the questions in the Q&A. And I actually want to start with the very first question from Leonore Benny. And he asked, great product. Will this only transcribe in English or other languages? Possible. And I also am going to, it's better to read out the question just because someone may be blind.
Sure.
The question. So go ahead.
Perfect. So to answer your question, right now, Descript is only English for our transcriptions. We do plan on expanding to other languages in the future. The reason why we haven't is honestly, we want to get our product in an even better, stronger place. Our CEO actually just addressed this question, I think 2 days ago during a webinar. And he basically said, we as a company are still building to a point that we think is minimum perfection. And once we reach that point, we will start to expand into other languages. But for now, we're working on getting our product to a place that surpasses, all other options in English, and then we'll expand.
I love that because out of all the tools that I use to caption my videos, Descript really is top of the line, which is why I'm so excited about talking to you today. So just hearing that and hearing that it's going to be even better than it is now, it gets me so excited. So thank you for sharing that with us. So our next question is from Katarina, and she asked, is there possibly a dark mode for someone with both hearing loss and vision loss? Color contrast helps me, and the all white background makes it hard to see buttons sometimes. So what are your thoughts?
Good question. We do get that question quite a bit. We don't currently support dark mode. We are asked for it quite a lot, so the feature request is logged, but as of right now, unfortunately, we do not have dark mode.
Awesome, no problem. And then this is from an anonymous attendee, and the question is, what is the maximum amount of time that this product can edit and transcribe?
Great question. And I'm actually going to answer this along with the question about cost, because those two are linked. We have actually, and I'm going to share my screen again just to show our pricing page. Give me a second to pull it up. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again so we can look at this. We have a few different plans on Descript, and each plan is associated with a different number of transcription hours. So our free plan is just to give you a taste of how our tools work, and that includes 3 transcription hours. But once you're onto a subscription plan, you have different limits for transcription. We actually also just rolled out these new plans on Tuesday, so we're very excited to show you. Our creator plan, which is $12 per user per month billed annually, or $15 per user per month billed monthly, offers 10 hours of transcription per user per month. So if you have multiple people on your team sharing the same drive, each of you gets 10 transcription hours per month. The creator plan includes our full set of features for audio and video transcription, as well as the exporting options that I showed you just now. But if you want our most advanced suite of tools and our most flexible publishing and exporting options, you want our Pro plan. And Descript Pro has a very exciting feature within it that I did not talk about, but it's called Overdub. And Overdub is basically a tool that allows you to clone your speaking voice and then create new audio by typing rather than by recording. So I could type in, "Hi, my name is Heather," say nothing, and my recording will say, "Hi, my name is Heather," as recorded audio. So that is a very, very cool tool, and that comes in the Pro plan. And the Pro plan also includes 30 hours of transcription per user per month. Now, both of these plans do give you the option to add additional hours, and you can add them either as a one-time addition for $2.50 per hour, and that you sort this out with our support team. But that would be a one-time price, or you could permanently add additional hours per month to your plan for $2 per hour, which also you do through our support team. And there is a link somewhere down here in the FAQ. Here you go. There is a link in the FAQ on the pricing page to help you do that. Great. Mariella, you are muted.
Thank you. So I want to make sure that we did not answer this question. The 2 hours not used in 1 month carry over into the next month?
That is a good question. I don't believe so. I actually, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to lie to you, but I don't believe so.
All right.
We can confirm that.
Yeah. We'll definitely email you, or you email us and you let us know. We'll be sharing.
Absolutely.
Heather, this was so good. I actually want to share with you that I actually did a presentation for Global Accessibility Awareness Day. It was a few months ago. And I was actually making a presentation about the script because I was so excited about it. And it ended up that the script was actually going through a background. Like, you guys were fixing something. And I totally bombed that presentation. But
oh, no.
It inspired me because I love this tool so much. And it's been so transformative and so great that I said, I need to figure out a way to do this presentation again, because like so good. So in a way, the script was actually the one that inspired the actual action of doing this. Everything you're talking about, overdub, the way you edit a file, these were all so difficult in the past. And whenever I tried to make accessible videos, it was just so much work. And now that I found this tool that you guys created, I have to tell everyone about it. So thank you so much for being a part of the team that does this work. It means so much. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Anything else you want to say?
Just thank you so much. This was a blast. We will be sending around an email with a coupon code for a discount on Descript. We'll be sending that around next week. And if you have any follow-up questions, anything that you need, you can email marketing@descript.com. And my personal email is just heather@descript.com. So please feel free to reach out with any additional questions. I am more than happy to dig into this with you, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Robert's presentation is going to be awesome.
Thank you so much with us for speaking with us, Heather. So if you feel comfortable, or actually just go ahead and close out your video, we're going to take a quick 5-minute, thank you. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Go to the bathroom, go get some water, go do whatever it is that you need to do. We did so well on time for that. Thank you so much for that, Heather. So go ahead, take a quick break, come back in about 4 minutes, and then we'll get started with Robert's presentation, which is going to be another boom, boom, boom. I will see you in 4 minutes. And we'll be playing some music in the background. So if you want to stay for that, do. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okie dokie. Let's do this. So, All right, so I hope everyone got some water, went to the loo, and I hope we are ready for our second workshop of the evening with Robert. Robert, are you there? I am going to need you to turn on your video. Awesome, we are so happy to have you. So everyone, I want to introduce you to Robert. Robert is going to be talking to us today about this incredible application called Kapwing. Am I saying that right?
Yes, Kapwing.
And basically what he's going to be doing is he's going to be taking the file that Heather just shared with us, and he's going to show us the magic behind the process now of making a video file that has that caption file and the video file, putting it all together. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. All right, I'll talk to you in 30 minutes.
All right, thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I think you can see that now. So first off, thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Robert Martin, and I'm a senior content strategist here at kapwing.com. And Kapwing is a free online content creation platform that really just makes it simple, quick, and easy for anybody to create really professional, good-looking videos, images, and GIFs right online. You don't need any software. You don't have to download anything, no apps. It's all free and available right inside your browser. So you can use this on your phone, or you can use it on your desktop computer or on a laptop. It's very easy to find and get started. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna pick up basically right where Heather left off. Incredible presentation, Heather. It was so cool seeing how Descript works. I can't wait to check out that product more. So we're gonna pick up right where Heather left off. She's gone ahead and emailed me the files that she worked on. Here's the final video and the SRT file with her captions. So I'm just gonna download both of these right out of my Gmail. If I can here. And then once I have these downloaded, I will go ahead and bring them into Kapwing and combine them to make a whole new video that has open captions. So let me see here if I can, I might have to open this up in Drive to download it. There it is. Okay. Then I will just click download here. Then I will go back and open the caption file she sent me and just go ahead and download that as well. So I have both of Heather's files here. It was a pretty quick and easy handoff, and I'm gonna go to our site, kapwing.com, and start combining them. So we have our main tool here that we call the studio, and inside of the studio is where you can do pretty much everything in Kapwing. So I'll just click get started right here, and that takes me to this page. So right here, you can either start with a blank canvas if you're starting from square one, or if you already have a video that you'd like to work with, like Heather's video, we can just click it and drag it right up here. So you'll see here, Kapwing is pulling that video into our system now. There's a little loading indicator right here showing that it's uploading. And as soon as Heather's video is uploaded here, I can just go in and add the captions that she made and quickly bake them right into the video. So as I'm sure many of you are aware of, there's two types of captions that we commonly work with. There's open captions and there's closed captions. Now, some platforms like YouTube allow you to have closed captions where you can click a button down in the corner and the captions pop up on the screen. Other platforms like Instagram, you don't quite have that option. The only way to get the captions on screen is to actually publish them as part of the video. So what I'm going to show you today is how to take a subtitle file like the one Heather just made and use our software, Kapwing, to actually put those subtitles right on top of the video, like a very simple overlay. So it looks like here we're at about 30%. So we'll just let that keep trucking along. This is about a 2-minute video, so it might take a few seconds to get in here. but we can start exploring some of the tools in Kapwing while we wait for our video to upload. So I'll start by just clicking the subtitles button right up here. And that takes me to our subtitle editor. When I'm in here, I have a few options. If I already have the subtitles pre-created using software like Descript, I can actually just go ahead and click this Upload SRT button down here in the corner, and I'll be able to take the file Heather sent me and attach it to my video. Now, if you don't already have a file, we also have the option here to actually time out the subtitles and write them yourself. So whether you're coming in with subtitles on hand or no subtitles, we try to help you out there and make it very easy to add them right into the video. So it looks like we're at about 59% now, so it's getting close. Inside of the editor here, I don't know if you can hear that audio, but it just starts playing right away, even before it's uploaded. So you can take a look at the content you're working with and get a better idea of how long it's gonna be and what all you're gonna wanna do with it. So I'll go back to my subtitles here and I'll click the Upload SRT button. And that's gonna take me here to my files where I can just pick the SRT file that Heather just sent to me just now. And I'll just double click that. And then you'll see here inside of our subtitler immediately populated with all of the subtitles that Heather sent me. So these are straight out of Descript. It says, "Hi everyone, I'm Heather Ellis, I'm going to be," and so on. So everyone is on a single line here and it's all ready to go. You see here, you have the timestamp for how long the caption is on screen. And you can adjust these if need be, but thanks to the power of Descript, everything is already timed out perfectly for us here. So as soon as the video is published in, then the subtitles are going to bake right into it. So it looks like it's at 94% here, almost done. But now that I've actually uploaded that SRT file and I've pretty much finished uploading the video here, if I click play, we should see those captions just pop up here. So really it's like 2 to 3 minutes here and I've got the captions already added right into the video. As I scrub along the timeline here, you can see the captions. And in some instances, you could consider this just done. I could go ahead and publish this video. It's got the captions on it that I wanted, and I could call it a day. I could go over to Facebook and post this, and everybody would be able to see what Heather's saying in this video. But that would be too easy. We're gonna spend some time making this a little more high quality today, a little more pro. So I've got my subtitles, everything is done. Now let's add some visual flourish to this video and make it something that we're gonna be really proud to share on our Instagram or Twitter page or LinkedIn. So something that I love about Kapwing is that we make it so simple to resize your video to whatever platform you're posting on. Right over here in the corner, you see this output size. So here I could actually start making adjustments to the size of this video. So let's create it today as if we were going to be posting this on Instagram. So Instagram has a very classic square style for its posts. So this video right now is a 16:9. It's more set up for YouTube or a TV viewing. So how do I resize this and make it right for Instagram? So I'll start by just clicking this output size 1:1. That's going to bring the video down to a square size. That's great for Instagram. Now you'll see here, as I click that, the subtitles also change down here so that they fit the screen perfectly as well. But Heather's video wasn't really shot for a square size in mind in the first place. So I actually can resize her video by clicking on it here. And then if I click this lock ratio button, it's going to bring it down to the original size it was shot at, but it'll still fit within this frame that I'm working with. So now I've got Heather's video right in the middle of my frame. I've still got my captions down here, and I can start adding other edits to make this look more like a post you might see on Instagram. So here I have the background color option on the right side of the screen. If I click that, I can go in and I can change my background color to something a little more aesthetically pleasing. So there's kind of a nice light reddish color. And then a lot of times what people will do with an Instagram post that has captions in a video like this is they'll go and they'll put a title at the top and they'll let their captions sit down here. So I just click the text button here in our editor and I can start creating a title that's going to fit Heather's video well. So I see here she's reading an excerpt from Amy Poehler's Yes Please. So maybe I'll enter a title that speaks to what we're going to see in the video. So maybe something like, have you read this book? Have you read this book? Question. Something to get the viewer to start thinking, well, what book is Heather talking about? I don't know. I guess I'll have to watch the video to find out. So I could do something like, have you read this book? And then over here, we have all of these fonts you can choose from. There's several hundred fonts. So you can really start styling this out and making it look however you want. So I'll go in there and I'll resize this a bit. Have you read this book? Make it bold. So I put that over kind of on the left side of the top there. And then since the book is an Amy Poehler book, and a lot of people are familiar with her, maybe I want to add a picture of Amy Poehler in here to accompany this video as well. So I'll click on images here, and it's kind of like Google Images baked right into our editor here. So I can search for Amy Poehler. I think I spelled that right. And a bunch of pictures of her will start popping up. If I want to get more specific, I can even ask for a PNG and see if I can find an image of Amy Poehler that's already cut out. Perfect. So I can now bring this image of Amy in, and I'll put it next to my title here. And we're starting to make what's a pretty interesting visual for our Instagram post here. I mean, originally we just had this video with the captions, kind of bare bones minimum to post. And now we actually have something that's got all these titles going on. It's got the captions down below. Something else that I love to add to these posts is a progress bar. Now, you may have seen these on other videos on Instagram before. So if I go to our shapes tool up here and I click the progress bar button, it's kind of like a little loading bar, but for your video. So this will show the viewer exactly how much time is left in the video before it ends. And it's kind of like a little psychological trick you can play on your viewer to keep them engaged. They know exactly how much time is left in the video. And if I click play here, you'll see that bar loading across the screen in time with the video. So this is starting to look like a pretty engaging post, but maybe these subtitles don't quite fit the aesthetic that I'm going for up top here. So maybe I want to change the font and the color of these subtitles down here. So again, I'll click on my subtitles tab, and I have the full font selection that I had from when I added that title in there. So I like my subtitles to be very large and readable so that you can't miss them and that nobody has a hard time trying to understand what the captions are saying. So I'll look for a font that I know to be very readable, maybe something like Arial Black. And then I can start to play a little more with how those subtitles are styled. So right now they've got this black bar wrap around them, but I can remove that and I can start editing them in different ways. I can maybe give them an outline like this, or I can just give them no wrap at all, and I can just adjust the size and make them large. And then you can also move them up and down and just continue to edit them until you're really happy with the visual that you've created here. So I'm gonna click done. I'm starting to really like how this post is looking, and let's see if the captions look good and fit inside the video here. Now that's starting to look very nice. These captions fit very well within this bar that I've set for them down here. I've got this big kind of snappy title to get you engaged and looking at my post. And really, I'm ready to go here. I'd be happy to post this on my Instagram. I hope Heather would too. So I think now that this is actually complete, the only final step here is just to click this big red publish button. And that is what we use to start to bake all of this together. So all of those elements I added to that video are now being processed and put together into a final video that we can then download. And you'll see this kind of bar on this screen here while the video is being processed. And it's actually us showing you exactly what kind of code is being put together to build your video. We like to kind of think of it as like a window into how our system works so that you can see your video processing there. So this is kind of an interesting screen because now that I'm here and my video is being processed, Kapwing is going to handle everything on our end. I don't need to sit around and wait for this screen to finish. I can go over to maybe like Facebook or something, and or go check my email here and respond to Heather. All the while, my video is going to continue processing. Now, if you're working with a very long video, maybe something that's like 10 minutes or longer, and you know it's going to take a while to process, you can even close out of this window altogether and come back to it later. And Kapwing is still going to process everything. Now, this is something that you really don't get with traditional video editors, things like iMovie or Adobe Premiere. Those are softwares that you have to leave open. Your computer needs to be on and running because your computer is actually handling the work to make your video. But Kapwing is a new kind of video editor that really does all of these complicated things in the cloud so that you can just click done, go on with your day, and then come back when the video is ready. So for a video like this, one that's maybe like 2 minutes long, we can expect maybe like 5 to 8 minutes of processing time. It really depends how many different layers and elements you added into the video in the first place. Every bit of complexity you add, whether it's a progress bar or a lot of text or different kinds of music samples or something, those are all gonna factor into how long things take to process. So something else that I'm also very happy to share about everything you just saw is that everything that I just did, you can do today on kapwing.com for absolutely free. That none of those tools cost any money. Everything you just saw is completely free. Now we do offer a pro pricing plan that comes with some things like a bigger file upload limit, and you're also able to publish longer videos. But if you're kind of thinking in the vein of Instagram or social media, and you just need to, add some captions to a 2-minute video, add those to the video and be on your way for a post, we're going to let you do all of that for free. And that's a big reason that, Kapwing is kind of a low risk thing to come try. We're giving you pretty much everything for free, and we definitely encourage you to come in, play around with the product for a while, edit a few videos, and then, if you decide it's something that'll work for you, we have a pro option that gives you a little more flexibility and a little more storage space and a few extra features. But everything I showed you today can be done for $0. You can go right after the presentation and go check it out for yourself. So that's a big part of how we've decided to approach this, is just make everything free, show people how easy it could be to start creating, and let them take over from there. So while our video is processing here, I'll go over to our tools panel. So what I was showing you before was the Kapwing Studio, which is actually pretty much all of these tools you see here baked into one product. But say you just want to add subtitles to your video. Say you don't really care about all of that extra flourish I added. You're not looking for anything too fancy. You just need subtitles. So we actually have a subtitler tool here that will do just subtitles. Now, these tools are great if you have a very focused project you need to work on and you don't need anything extra. So I'll click this try a sample button to show you an example. So if you're using just the subtitler tool, it's going to look very similar to the tool I just showed you, but it's only the subtitles page. So in our example here, you can see we've got this news clip, we've got subtitles timed out, and you can also edit the text to have different fonts, different sizes, bold, italic, different colors, whatever you need. So we try to also provide tools that let people just get in, get one easy, quick job done, and get out. Not everybody needs all of the full features of the studio. So we really try to support you no matter what your task that you're trying to get done is. We want to be able to enable you to do that in the way that is easiest for you. So something I love about our tools here in Kapwing, if I go back to the tools page, whoops. So what we see a lot with Kapwing too is that a lot of people come into our website here who have no experience making videos in the past. They've never edited a video. They've never had to add subtitles or captions. So another thing that we try to do is just make all of this as simple as possible. If you just need to take a video and change the size of it like I did today, you could use our video resizer tool. We'll even suggest sizes that are best for different formats, whether that be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. So whatever the task may be, there's tons of tools that we've included in here for you. All of these are free. And if you want a more robust experience that brings all of these into one editor, then we've always got our studio tool that you can explore and find all of those tools within. So now that we've kind of taken a little tour of the site, let's go back to our workspaces and let's see if Heather's video is done yet. So it is. So here's our final product. Heather's video is now fully processed and ready to be downloaded. So if I just click this download button right here, it'll download it right to my desktop, and I can go take that file and do whatever I want with it. I can post it on any social media site. I can email it to my boss for review before a business puts it out, whatever it may be. That's your video to keep now, and there's no watermark on it. That's another thing that we like to point out, is that as long as you are signed in to Kapwing, like you see this R up in the corner with me signed in, as long as you're signed in, we will never watermark your video. We remove the watermark for free. Now, you can use Kapwing without signing in, but the videos are watermarked as a caveat. So rather than asking for you to pay to remove that, we just ask you to sign in and start to keep all of your videos in one collection. So Heather's video is done here. Another thing that I really love about Kapwing, and that makes it a great tool for teams, if maybe you aren't working on your videos, you aren't working on your social media content alone, maybe you have a whole team that you want to work with. I know Mariella's got a great team that she works with, and I feel like this would be great for them. So if I wanted, I could just copy the URL of my project up here, and I could go email that to Mariella. And when she opens that link, I'll open a new tab here to demonstrate this. When she opens that link, she's going to be taken to the same page. Mariella could then click edit, and now Mariella is inside of the video that I just created, but she's in a copy of it. And she can go into the copy of that video and start making her own edits. And that way I could start part of the work, say, I'm really happy with how this looks, but I think I need some extra opinion here. I think I need your guidance. How would you add to this, Mariella? And I can send her the link, and she's going to be able to go right in, pick up where I left off. Maybe she thinks my progress bar is tacky. She deletes that. That's fine. She can then, change this headline. She says, I don't really like this. It should say something about Amy Poehler. She could fix that, and then she could publish it. So Kapwing is extremely collaborative in this way. And if you have a team or other people to help you with your videos, you're very much encouraged to bring them on board and bring them right into your project. You don't need to send them any complex project files or anything like that. You just send them a link to what you've been working on, and they can jump right in and go after it. So it's pretty much like a high level overview of everything that we are working with in Kapwing. There's a lot more that you can do in here, but I think this kind of covers the main points that I wanted to get at today. You saw Heather take a video, make a perfect transcript of it using Descript. She got an SRT file and a video file. She sent those to me, and then I was able to put them right into Kapwing and make something entirely new with a little extra visual flourish that I think will do well on social media or wherever I choose to share my videos. Let me open up the chat here. I haven't had it open during this, but.
Woo! Yes, Robert, that was so good. So good. I think you and Heather combined just blew people's mind. The first time I discovered Descript, and then I found out about Kapwing, it was like another level. But anyway, yes, you do have a few questions, and the first question is from Carolyn Audio, and it says, I noticed the YouTube caption file has an extension of .sbb. Can you use this with an MP4 file?
So currently with Kapwing, we only support the .srt format. But that said, if the file you have doesn't work with Kapwing, we also allow you to manually enter, like you could copy and paste the caption lines from that SBB file that you're working with and put them right into our editor as well. But the SRTs are the only one that we currently support, yeah. I think you're muted, Mariella.
Sorry. So I think this is really good, and this question is one that I also struggle as well, so I want to ask it. The question is from Catarina Rivera, and she asked, if you share your project link with someone else, how do they share their work back with you? Can you see their changes if they have their own copy?
Sure. So there's two ways to do this. Within Kapwing, we have what we call workspaces. And when you create an account, you're immediately given your own workspace, and you can change the title of it. Like mine's called Robert's Workspace, but we have another one that we use as a team called Content Marketing. So if you invite somebody to be a part of your workspace, you can see each other's edits in real time. If you both have the project open, if I move some text down, you're going to see that because I've shared it with you. Now, if I fully publish my video and then share that link with you, and you're not a part of my workspace, then you would have to publish your video and then send me that link for me to see the changes. So inside of the workspace, though, there is a feature to bring someone in as a real-time collaborator, and then you can see every click they make right as it happens. Yeah.
I didn't know this. So this is basically like a Google Drive, technically.
Yes, very similar.
Okay, full stop. That is amazing. Amazing. I am blown away. So next question is, we have an anonymous attendee who asked, is there a web browser for a Mac that this may not work with?
So there are a lot of web browsers out there to choose from. And a big part of our work is to make sure that Kapwing works well with most of the major popular ones. So if you're working with one like Safari or Firefox or Chrome, or even Internet Explorer for Windows, then you're guaranteed to have Kapwing support. If you ever are using a browser, though, that for some reason doesn't support Kapwing, we would urge you to reach out for us so that we can make it work.
Wow, that makes sense. I loved both of your presentations. I loved them already, but now it's just a whole nother level of appreciation. It looks like we don't have any other questions right now.
Can I add one other thing?
Go for it.
Sure. I'm gonna share my screen again because I forgot to mention this. So we actually wanted to do a special promotion as a part of this engagement today. So we have a private Facebook group called the Kapwing Creators Club. I can actually drop a link to this down in the chat. And one person who joins our Facebook group from this chat today is actually going to be awarded a free Kapwing Pro account. So it's kind of like a contest. Anybody can win. It's going to be a totally random drawing. But when you're answering the membership questions to join our group, just mention that you saw us here at the HAIC conference, and one person will get selected for a Pro account for free.
Yay! So you guys heard Robert. You have to do it. I'm so excited to hear that. So we have 4 minutes remaining in your talk. We can open it up. We can stop there and I can start closing out. What do you want to do? If you want to keep going and show us other cool stuff, I'm open to that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So let me share my screen again here. So something I didn't really touch on because I had a video that I was already working with is, what is Kapwing like if you're just starting from scratch and you maybe don't have a video yet, you're not sure what you want to use. So you can actually go into our studio and just start with a blank canvas. And when you're here, this is a great place to kind of start with a blank slate, think about what you're making, and then get started on it. So something I like to do when I know that I need to post on maybe our Instagram story, or I need to post somewhere that's going to be seen on a phone, is I like to just start by going to like a 9:16. And then I can start thinking kind of in the terms of what fits on a phone screen. What, like, not every video is going to be perfect for a phone screen. What works here? And then like I showed you earlier with our images, you can search for basically anything and we'll be able to start pulling it up here. So as you get kind of deeper into Kapwing, here I bring in a picture of a basketball, the abilities you have with it as an editor continue to get richer and richer. So I'm also going to drag in that video I just made here. And here's my picture of like a basketball, right? Something that is really cool that we put a lot of time into and that I am encouraging more creators to start trying out is our timeline feature. So I can actually time out, once I get kind of into the more complex side of Kapwing, I can time out images to pop up at a certain time. So as Heather is talking here, I could make that basketball pop in and then I could make it like disappear again before her video's over. It's something you see in a lot of YouTube videos where elements are popping up all over the screen. And each week we make pretty significant updates to Kapwing to make it more and more pro, with a goal of eventually having, you know, full-time creators who all they do is make videos all day, use our platform. So there's a lot that I didn't go into today that you can do on Kapwing to really make high quality professional stuff that's never been possible inside of a web browser before. So this is just kind of a very quick example of using the timeline, but the more you use Kapwing, I think the more you'll find it can do some pretty incredible stuff once you start to get a handle on all of these tools. So I definitely encourage you guys to all come and check it out. And again, all these tools are free to you. So thank you so much for having me here today and giving us this opportunity to share what we've been working on.
Love it. And you did all of that in an extra 4 minutes. Amazing. You and Heather today were just top notch. So thank you again, Robert, so much for taking time to talk with us today about Kapwing. I am blown away, everyone. I thought I knew the script and Kapwing, but there's so much I didn't know you could do. And I am so excited to try all of these really, really cool features now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen since that is really the last presentation of the day. I hope that you've learned as much as I have, and I hope that some of my enthusiasm has rubbed off on you because I was so excited about these 2 workshops. I mean, I've been excited about every workshop we've had so far. I am so excited about the ones that are coming up. And I'll get to that in just 1 minute. So let's see. So for today, if you are interested in connecting with me after the conference, I would like for you to go on Facebook. I am constantly putting content out there that I find relating to technology, to accessibility and inclusion, tools like Kapwing and the script and Google Live Transcribe and Google Live Caption, and all of these really different technologies that make my life as a person with a hearing disability better. And I hope they make your life better too. Fun fact, did you know that the little piece of technology that we use every single day known as text messaging was actually created for deaf people to communicate with each other? So stuff like that. I'm all about accessibility with the goal of making our world more accessible through technology. So go ahead and follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I am also Project Hearing. If you're interested in sending me an email, send me an email at hello@projecthearing.com. I am going to get back to you within at least 24 hours. So next slide is day 5 out of 7. We are closing out. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the time is just running, like just getting to today. So much time, so much effort, so many meetings, so many emails, and it's already day 5. So I am so excited about everything that is happening. And I am happy that you got to share in this moment with me all this excitement that is happening. So all the presentations that we've done over the last 5 days have been recorded and will be shared after the entire conference. We will also share any codes that we received during the presentations, or any presentations or PDF files that we need to share out. We will share those out. Don't panic. We also want to encourage all of you, if you are liking the content that you are seeing in the conference, go ahead and make a donation to the conference. All the funds that are being used for this conference, so initially when we put this conference together, we said we need to make this accessible. We need to make this 100% accessible. We cannot have a conference about accessibility and then not make the conference accessible. That makes no sense. So we actually set out to make this conference accessible, and we were raising funds in the donation page to be able to pay for real-time captioners and interpreters. And we were very lucky, and we received sponsorship from Google, who is paying for our interpreters and captioners today. These incredible individuals who are doing this incredible work. So We have already received some donations when we received word of Google being able to do this. And so we decided we have to pay our speakers. Our speakers are experts at this stuff. They are so knowledgeable. I am sorry, again, this happened yesterday. I live in a major intersection, and so you're constantly hearing sirens. I'm in New York City. This is normal. But anyway, if you're interested in making a donation, all of those extra funds that we are raising are going to be going to our speakers, who will have the option of keeping that money, making a donation to a hearing nonprofit, or investing it back into private hearing so that we can continue to create events like this. So for tomorrow, we have 2 more special speakers, and we are going to be having Catarina Rivera, who is my coworker. Well, not my daytime job, my nighttime job with private hearing. We run a bi-weekly conversation known as Chicas Talk Disability. And that bi-weekly conversation, Catarina has Usher syndrome. And so when I first connected with Catarina, she was the very first Latina that I met who also had a hearing disability, and our upbringings are similar. The way we think about our disabilities is very similar, and we just clicked. And funny story behind that is that we actually met on Instagram. Okay, so I'm gonna share this story. Catarina may want to share it later, but Catarina has a friend, and her friend had found my Instagram, and then her friend told her, hey, there's this girl on Instagram, you should follow her. And Catarina was like, sure, whatever. And then Catarina goes on Instagram, and she adds me, and I mean, I get follows every day. But she runs an organization, and she was having a happy hour. And she was like, oh, she remembered about this girl that her friend told her about. And she saw a post that I had made. It was something New Yorkish. And she went ahead and she was like, oh my God, you totally live in New York City. And I was like, yes, I do. And she told me, I'm hosting this event tonight at this bar in Manhattan. Do you want to like come by and like hang out? And I'm like, sure, I'm there. So I go ahead and I invite my best friend, because I was like, oh my God, what if Catarina ends up being a serial killer? So I invite my best friend, Lucy, and we go to the bar, and Catarina ends up being really cool. And then after the bar, we get on the train, and we take the same train to head uptown. And I'm like, where are you getting off? And she tells me where she's getting off, and I'm like, what? I get off at that same stop. And come to find out, Catarina lives across the street from me. This girl is across the street from my apartment. And all of this happened right before the coronavirus thing. And it was like a perfect mix of opportunity. And we were both stuck at home, and we were just like, oh my God, we had to do some work together. And Chicas Talk Disability was born. And I am so excited to have her talk to all of you about that work and about how we're creating space for inclusion. Catarina is the type of person that's constantly encouraging me to create space for myself, constantly inspiring me to do things like this, the Hearing Access and Inclusion Conference. I am doing this because I am supported by people like her that make this happen. And let me talk to you about the second speaker, Michelle, Dr. Michelle, who she is a pediatric audiologist. And we had this incredible conversation about the power of a positive mindset. Michelle has a hearing disability and has a cochlear implant, and we had a conversation about the importance of having a positive mindset when you have a hearing disability. And I'm not going to ruin it for her, but just the way Michelle talks to you, she brings it home. You have to be here tomorrow to watch her speak. So to get continue the conversation. If you're liking the conversations we're having, the topics we're having, we encourage you to go to this link that we have here. We are having an event on Facebook for this event. So go ahead and continue the conversation there. We are also going to be sending out a survey, or you can just go ahead and type that in your browser. Let us know, what are we doing well? What are we doing not so well that we can improve on? What are you liking? What do you love? What don't you like so much? Let us know so that we can make this the best darn conference you've been to all year. And then finally, if you need to contact us, go ahead and email us at Hearing AIC. So AIC, Hearing Access and Inclusion Conference @gmail.com. And with that said, we are on time. It is 7:30. I hope you've learned as much as I have in the 2 30-minute workshops. And I will see you again tomorrow for day 6. And we will be having Catarina Rivera and Dr. Michelle, who will be doing an incredible 2 sets of presentation. I mean, if you thought the presentations today were good, they've been good since we started, and it's only up from here. So I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern. I will be playing some music, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.